It's that time again. The Sephora sale is coming around, so I want to walk you through all of my favorites. As someone who tries a million beauty products, I am promising you anything in here I've been using for at least 2 weeks at the bare minimum, but a lot of these are things that I use every single day, have gone through an entire product and restocked. Like, these are definitely the tried and trues, not something new. But anyways, we have to start out with our recent empties and anything I'm considering restocking, because if we're being honest, those are the holy grails. These are my most recent empties. Across honestly a lot of different categories, we have body care, makeup. Let's dive into these. First up, we have Josie Maran. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I love their body care products. I just finished up the vanilla body scrub, and when I say I finished these, it's not that I finished one of these tiny little jars. No. It's that I finished their full refill size. Like, I have gone through so many of these. This is the Vanilla Vibes. It's my favorite scent in their body care range. I feel like it's just a nice sweet vanilla. This I probably have a little bit left because I just refilled it. I think I already threw out the refill bag, but I'm constantly going through this one, so obviously an easy restock for me. Now, as we know, the last year was kind of my makeup year, if you will. I got really into makeup, learning to do my own bridal makeup. So these are some empties from that season, if you will, and things that I'll be repurchasing. The Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I love this foundation. They just reformulated. Honestly, I didn't notice a major difference on my skin with the new reformulation. It's supposed to have, I think, more skincare ingredients. A lot of people don't like it, so take my feelings and opinion with a grain of salt, because the consensus seems to be that it is not as good of a foundation anymore. They do sell it in a mini size if you want to try the reformulation without having to like fully commit. Or you can always ask in Sephora for a sample. That's definitely good to do now before we're like fully into Sephora sale. Next is this Natasha Denona concealer. I clearly spilled something in this box, but this I am fully out of. I'm restocking. I used this for my wedding. I'm using it on my sister for her wedding in a few weeks. And this is just overall a great high coverage concealer. I feel like it does not crease. Like, this is the only concealer that I genuinely am like, yeah, this just doesn't crease. It does not budge. I have not yet found another concealer that I would say that about, but this one is incredible. I would highly recommend if you're looking for more coverage in the under eye area. This just lasted so long. It's the Givenchy Prism Libre 4-color loose powder. I had shade 3. This is just like a pink setting powder. I used this under the eyes. This lasted me genuinely an entire year, and this is just the mini size. Honestly, I don't really feel a reason to get a bigger size if the mini lasted me that long. I will say I largely only use this in the under eye area, which might be why it lasted me so long, but definitely a great product. I've tried some other under eye setting powders that are like specific to the under eyes, and I just don't like them as much as I like this one, so I will definitely be restocking. You have heard me talk about this time and time again. It is the Rare Beauty Eyebrow Gel. I already have a full restock, so I'm not going to be repurchasing for now because I have one on hand, but I highly recommend this. It never lasts me very long, which is really my only pet peeve about it, but it is an incredible brow gel. Your brows will not budge if you're using this. And then finally, we have the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Setting Spray. This I feel like is really good for like melting powders into cream products. It's not necessarily something that I feel like is gonna make your makeup last all day like the One Size setting spray. I feel like this is more of a, it's gonna melt everything together and make it look more cohesive and more like skin. And then I just have 2 body washes, the L'Occitane Shower Oil. If you know, you know, I'm obsessed with this, especially for the winter. But now that we're heading into spring and summer, I've switched back over to Salt and Stone. This is the Bergamot and Hinoki scent. This is so good. Definitely, I feel like a more gender neutral scent, like it's not aggressively feminine or masculine, which I do really like because I do live with a man. So if he wants to steal my body wash, I feel like he can with this one and not necessarily with some of the others. But this is definitely my go-to more for summer and like warm weather versus this, I would say. If you're super dry year round, definitely, but this I lean towards more in the winter months. Okay, those are all of my recent empties. Let's move on to my current makeup favorites from Sephora. Okay, when it comes to makeup, I feel like I've been reaching towards lighter coverage products. For full coverage, I would definitely still say Armani Luminous Silk is like my tried and true, but as we head into spring and summer, I feel like I'm looking for lighter coverage. So these are my three favorites. I have the Hourglass Skin Tint. I wear the shade 5. I think that this is absolutely beautiful. Very lightweight on the skin, looks like skin. Next, I have the Merit Foundation Stick. I feel like this is a little bit heavier, like in its application, but it blends out really seamlessly. I'm wearing this one today. I have the shade Bisque. And then I also have the Ciel Skin Tint. This I really like because it's SPF 50. I have the shade Fair. I will probably get a darker shade for summer. I do really like this. I feel like, again, it's a very good coverage, and this lasts all day. I did a full wear test on this and a full 12-hour day, no issues in this, which I think is really impressive for a skin tint because I feel like sometimes the coverage just like does not last very well, but this was really good. I am currently on a big Summer Fridays lippy obsession. So right here I have the Lip Butter Balm in the new scent Toasted Marshmallow, and then I also have Pink Sugar. And then I've been still loving this little lip combo, the lip liner in the shade Latte and the lip tint in the shade Almond. I do think that this one has been sold out, so if you see it in stock for the Sephora sale, I would definitely get it because it has not stayed in stock very long. For blush and bronzer, I feel like I have been just consistent in like the way that I've been doing my makeup lately. So I have the Rhode Pocket Blush in the shade Tan Line. I'm wearing this again today. And then over that, I have the Say Blush in the shade Chow. This is just like a really good warm toned blush. I feel like here it's coming up almost like a bronzer, but I promise it's a little bit more like red orange than it's coming up on the camera right now. And then I have the Say bronzer in the shade Amalfi. It's the light to medium shade. Again, wearing this today. I just really like their baked bronzer and blush. I think that they're absolutely beautiful. I think that they've got really fun colors, and I've been using one of those at this point for like months. Sometimes I swap out the blush, but I still actually swap it out for another Say blush, usually the shade Baby. For brushes, I'm recommending one, and it is this Makeup by Mario F4 brush. I use this every single day. I actually have two of them so that I always have one that has been freshly cleaned for me to use because I am obsessed with it. I use this end for foundation, and then this end I use for bronzer and blush. I've been using the same brush when I'm applying both bronzer, like cream bronzer, and then the cream blush, because I feel like it just blends them in a lot more seamlessly, and then I go over that, flip it over with the foundation brush. So you can see how that being like a double-sided brush is actually really beneficial because I'm going through my bronzer, blending it out, blush, blending it out, and then taking that foundation brush back over the top to make sure everything is blended seamlessly. So I have been loving this. As we're approaching summer, I'm also recommending the Freck Faux Freckles. I really like these. I think that it's just easy to use. It's very small and they blend in really well. I feel like they also last all day, which is sometimes hard for me. Like sometimes I put a powder over the top and then the faux freckles are just gone, or it's a really messy product and it just ends up everywhere. So this one I'm definitely recommending, although I do need to try the Buble one by Rudy Berry. And then I have two eyeliner products that I'm recommending. The Makeup by Mario Perfect Brown. This is just a really creamy eyeliner, so I am enjoying that. I will say you could probably find a drugstore dupe of this, just like if you're looking for a brown eyeliner. This is one that I've been reaching for the most. I have not tried any drugstore one, so I can't tell you if there's like a better dupe out there for this one, but I do really like this. And another thing that I think is just interesting about this is that they actually have a brush on the other end to help you like smudge it out. But I do feel like this lasts, which is impressive for eyeliner. I feel like that's the first thing to fade on me. And then I've been obsessed with the Makeup Forever Artist Pencil in the shade Endless Cacao. I use this as eyeliner and then in my waterline. I feel like just because I'm a little bit more fair, I like how light this is because brown even still looks pretty harsh on my eyes, whereas I feel like this doesn't look nearly as harsh. Okay, next up I'm grouping skincare, body care, and fragrance because a lot of my body care favorites were actually in those recent empties. So let's start off with skincare. We have the Youth to the People Kale Cleanser. I feel like over the last year or two, I've really focused on simplifying my skincare so I don't have a ton of crazy ingredients, and I love this as just like a nice, simple cleanser. It never irritates my skin. There's no crazy actives in it. It's just a good, simple cleanser. It lathers really well, and that's honestly the best thing about it, in my opinion. Like, it has a very light, clean fragrance, and then I think that the lather is just really satisfying on this. But I will say it frequently gets mistaken as hand soap. Careful on that one. I try not to leave it right next to the sink because it'll get used up rapidly if people think it's hand soap. I feel like something that I've noticed as I'm approaching my 30s is that around my eyes is just becoming a problem area for me. So I've been working on being a little bit more intentional with eye care products. So we have this Sunday Riley Auto Correct Eye Cream. This is supposed to help with dark circles and just overall a brighter, more lifted eye area, which we love. I have the Water Drench Hyaluronic Cloud Hydrogel Eye Patches from Peter Thomas Roth. I just like doing these in the morning when I'm ice rolling my face, making my coffee, doing my hair, like just something that I leave on for a little bit to help keep my under eyes really hydrated. I also feel like that helps a lot with makeup application, especially in the under eye, and helping it not cling to dry patches by keeping the under eyes very hydrated. For moisturizers, I have two different ones that I've been using. I love the Clinique Dramatically Different with SPF. I just love a simple one step in the morning because I'm tired. I don't want to be awake yet. And I've really been liking how simplified this is. And then at night, I love the Astura Ado Barrier 365 cream. I've been using this at this point for like 3 years maybe. I really love this. It's just a rich, hydrating cream. I will say because it's so thick, I tend to not like this as much under makeup. But for at night, when I'm using it to really make sure I have hydrated skin in the morning, I feel like it's perfect. This is like skincare-esque, but it's the Grande Lash. I just have a mini version of this. I have not gone through it. It honestly takes a really long time. I'm not religious about using this every day, but I would say I use it like 4 or 5 times a week, which to me is sufficient. I think that you are supposed to use it every single day, but I just feel like my eyes get irritated using it as often, so I try to give myself a break every so often. I feel like I was off of this for a while because I was looking for a more natural version, if you will, if that even exists. I don't know, but I do feel like this works better than anything else that I've tried, so I am back to Grande Lash. Now, I don't know about you, but my hands are always insanely dry in the winter months, and honestly just year round because I tend to wash my hands a lot, especially if I'm like cooking all throughout the week. I obsessively wash my hands while I'm cooking. It's kind of a problem, but I definitely need a thick hand cream, and this L'Occitane one is like top tier, unmatched. Like, look how thick that is. It's insane. It has like a very baby powder scent to me, which I don't necessarily love, but I also feel like baby powdery and like just a clean scent is very neutral in the world of fragrance, so I don't feel like it overly impacts anything, and it actually sinks into your skin versus like feeling like it's just sitting on top. That is a 10 out of 10 for me. A self tan is a safe tan, and that is why I love Luxe Unfiltered. This is their hydrating self tan cream. This is the only tanner that I've ever tried that really has no like fake tan smell, like absolutely none. This is their Santal scent. I love this. And I have not had any issues like using this before bed, wearing it all day long, and it does give a pretty decent tan. Like, I don't feel like this is actually that gradual of a tan. Like, if you've ever tried Jergens, I feel like you know, like a gradual tan is very light and it usually takes like 3 or 4 days. If you put this on like once every few days, I feel like you're gonna stay consistently tan, and I really like that. It's also really hydrating. I feel like usually self tans end up drying out your skin, but this one is insanely hydrating. Like, I don't know what kind of combination they used in this, but it is really moisturizing, which is impressive. Other than that, on the instructions, it just says to make sure you let it dry before you get dressed, which that I can attest to is true. If you don't fully let it dry, it smudges off on your clothes, and then it ends up looking a little bit streaky. But otherwise, I've had really good results with this. This one is basically empty, and I have already restocked. And then I have 2 fragrance favorites, which I think were actually in my recent monthly favorites as well. I have Cyclar's Vanilla Verve deodorant, and then Black Opium Red, which is more of a cherry scent. And that is all for my skincare, body care favorites. Okay, and finally we have hair care favorites. And as you can tell, there's not that many. I feel like, if anything, my consistent theme so far this year has been simplifying all of my beauty routines, like not using a million different products, but instead picking a few that are really my tried and true favorites and not straying until they're empty, which, as someone who does does get beauty PR, that can actually be really difficult. So I feel like if I don't love it on the first couple of uses, it's like on to the next, because I want to try to stick to using the same products to really be able to see the results and difference. That's why you can see that this is trimmed down quite a bit. First up, this actually should have been in the empty section, but it's the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Hair Mask. This is probably my second or third one of these that I've gone through. I actually really like this because I feel like it's a good hair mask that doesn't end up weighing my hair down. So if I want to wear my hair naturally wavy, I actually really like this, because a lot of hair masks, I feel like for my hair to actually feel hydrated, end up feeling a little bit too heavy. Like I can definitely still curl it, but not necessarily wear it just natural with the waves. If you would have talked to me a few years ago, I would have told you that K18 is like one of my least favorite hair care brands. Like I genuinely just did not like that leave-in molecular mask. I do need to give it a second go, because I now have 3 K18 products in this, which is really impressive for me as someone who thought that they would just like never really like this brand. Anyways, I have the K18 Triple Bright. If you can see the blonde in my hair right now, I feel like it's actually looking pretty good. I have not seen my stylist this year, and it's April. I'm actually going later this week. We are past due. But all that to be said, I feel like my hair is looking pretty good with the blonde, and it's not looking like aggressively brassy. It's not looking super grown out and gross, and I feel like the Triple Bright is definitely helping with that. And then I also have the K18 Damage Shield shampoo and conditioner. I was actually really impressed with the conditioner, because I obviously didn't really like the leave-in mask, so I wasn't anticipating that I would like the conditioner quite as much, but I actually feel like this is a good thick consistency for a conditioner, and the shampoo gets into a really good lather, which I feel like helps a lot as far as like getting out any buildup without necessarily needing a buildup shampoo. But I do have their detox shampoo to try out as well. For hair oil, I've been loving this one from Pureology. It's just a really good multi-purpose hair oil. I feel like it's great at adding shine. It makes your hair look super pretty, silky, soft, and it also has a heat protectant. So when I'm traveling, I can literally just throw this in my bag and I'm good to go. For slick backs, I have this cute bedazzled version of the Nexxus Slick Stick, but I actually still think that this is one of my favorite slick back sticks that I've tried. I like the Briogeo one just because it's really tiny, but I still think that I reach for this significantly more than any of my other slick back products. And then finally, we have the MEJ claw clips. I've just been on a really big claw clip kick, and I feel like these are the sturdiest claw clips that I have. I actually bought this one from Sephora not too long ago, and then this one, I honestly have no idea how I got this one or where it came from, but I do really like it. It's pink, and then this is their big effing clip claw size. All right, that is all for my Sephora favorites. I would love to know one of your favorites, so leave a comment down below, because I have not finalized making my cart, so I might need to be trying out some of your favorites too. Anyways, that is all for this week. I will see you in the next one. Bye.